Hello everyone. We will look at the core modules of FIDINA today. The core modules are the basic functionalities that you will see in FIDINA. So the functionalities that are related to the schools or the institutions, we can create timetables, we can add teachers, we can add students, and we can create examinations, and we can do the related reports. So these basic functionalities we will be able to do in FIDINA. Now, before starting, this is the first screen that you will see in FIDINA. And this is the login screen. In FIDINA, admin can log in. So admin is the user who has all the privileges. Then employees can log in. So to the employees, we can set privileges based on their role. Students can log in, and the parents of the students can log in. So for the first time, I should log in as an admin to admit the other students or the employees or the parents. And I have to use the username as admin and password as admin123. And when I log in, this is the dashboard that I'll see. And each box that you see here is known as a dashlet. And each dashlet will give you some information about your institute as per the data entry that you have done in FIDINA. So here, employees on leave. So this is an information as per my school, fees due, examinations, and so on. You can manage this information by going to Manage Dashlet. So the information that you want to see on the screen, you can check that from here. The ones that you do not want to see, you can uncheck from here, and when you save it, the same will get reflected here. Now the first setting that I should be doing as an administrator is going to Administration and Settings. So I have to do all these settings, and the first is General Settings. Here I need to tell FIDINA about my institute. So the name, the address, and the phone number. Then what is the type of institute? Is it a K-12, meaning grade 1, kindergarten to grade 12, kindergarten to class 12, or any nomenclature like standard 1, standard 2, and so on. So that is K-12. Higher education would mean the longer duration courses, the semester system courses, the degree courses. So according to what you have for your institute, you have to select that from here. If you select K-12, the term course in FIDINA will be replaced by class. If you select higher education, the term course will remain course. So this is a new enhancement that we have got with FIDINA 3.4.1. Also, we can select the attendance time to be once in a day, which is daily, or based on the number of subjects, which is subject-wise. Start day of the week. So as per whether the day starts from Saturday or Monday or any other weekday, you can select that, and the same will be reflected in the calendar in FIDINA. Date format. So how do you want to see the dates in FIDINA? Date, month, year, or any other format? And what is the separator? So the two separators are available. You can select the one that you want. Then the fiscal year start and end date of the institute has to be selected from here. So this is the financial year duration of the institute. Then there is a fees module in FIDINA where we can collect fees from the student and issue him receipt. Now on that receipt, a number will be mentioned. So this is the starting receipt number. And for the subsequent receipts, it will get auto incremented. Then you can select the language, time zone, country, and currency type as per the location of the institute. Precision count can be mentioned as per how many digits you want to see after decimal in finance reports in FIDINA. You can upload the logo. This will be appearing in all the PDF files. You can select the grading system. So as per how the assessment happens in this institute, you can select it. So it can be grade point average, GPA, which is generally followed by the semester system courses, course weighted average, CCE is followed by CBSE following schools, ICSE is another Indian standard. Then we have enable auto increment student and employee admission number. So for the first time, you can mention the admission number for the student and the employee number of the employee when you are admitting him. And for the subsequent times, it will get auto incremented. So if you want that to happen, you can check these two options. Then there is a news module in FIDINA where anyone can comment. Now if you want the comments to be moderated or approved before anyone else can see them, you can check this. Then enable sibling. So if you want the parents of 2 or more children who study in the same institute to have a single login, you can check this option. So the parents of 2 or more siblings will be having a single login and they can see all the profiles in that login. When you admit a student or an employee for the first time, they will be given a default password. If you want to give them an option to change their password, you can check this option here. And we have come up with enable roll numbers feature for the student. A roll number is a unique number given to each student in a batch. So a roll number is unique in a batch. Admission number is unique throughout the institute. That is the difference between roll number and admission number. If you want the roll numbers for the students, which means you want to give unique numbers to the students in the batch, you can check this option. And once you have done these settings, the second step is to create courses and batches. So we have an option here, manage course batch. And we will go to manage course. Now here I can create courses. I'll give you 2 examples. If you are a school like K-12 institutes, you are going to create courses like class 1, class 2, class 8 and so on. Otherwise grade 1, grade 2 and so on, and also standard 1, standard 2 and so on. Of course kindergarten and pre-nursery and other courses can also be created. So these are the courses. Since I've already created them, so they are appearing here. If you are a higher education institute, then you will be creating courses like Bachelor's for Theatre Semester 1, BTech Computer Science Engineering Semester 1 and so on. So you will have all the semesters as the courses. So let me tell you here, we will go to new to create a course. Now if you are a K-12 institute, you will be giving the course name as, let's say, class 9, and you will be giving the section name here. Now if you are a higher education institute, you will be giving the course name to be something like BTech of the subject or degree. That degree name is the name of the course. In the section name, give the name of the semester. Grading system, you can select as per the selections that you've done in general settings, those grading systems will appear. Since I did not select anything, it means normal grading system. Normal grading system means it is averages and percentages of the subject marks. If you want the students to be able to select their own subjects, you can check this option, enable elective selection. And the semester or the course is definitely going to have at least one batch. So that batch details have to be filled in here. So let me create it for you like I'm creating for a K-12 institute. If you're a K-12 institute, do not enter anything in section name. Section name is only to be used by higher education institutes to fill in their semester names. Otherwise, leave it blank. Give the name of the code. So this is the short form for the course. Give the grading system type. If the students will be able to select their subjects, check this option and give the initial batch details. So I can give something like A 2015. A batch is a group of students who have the same timetable. So if you are dividing the students of class 9 into two groups like A and B, so I am giving here initial batch details, which is A batch details. I'll be able to create B batch as well. I can give the start and the end time from here. So this is the duration of class 9 course. Once I have done that, you will see that the course appears here, class 9. On clicking on it, I can see the batch. I can create new batch from here. And when I create a new batch, I'll be able to copy the subjects of the existing batch to the new batch. To do that, first I need to create subjects in this batch. To create subjects, I will go to Manage Subjects and I will select that course, which is C9 A 2015, and you will see that we can add two types of subjects here. Normal subjects are the mandatory subjects and electives are the subjects which are optional to the students. So to add a normal subject, click on Add Normal Subject. Give the name of the subject which will be taught in this class 9 course. Give some code. It can be the same as name as well. How many classes of this subject will happen in a week? So as per the timetable that you might have set for class 9 for this course, the maximum periods in a week has to be mentioned here. And if you do not want to conduct an exam for this subject, you can check this. Otherwise, you can leave this unchecked. So like this, we can create another normal subject here. And then we can create electives, so the optional subjects. For creating an elective, first we need to create an elective group. For example, we can create an elective group called Games. And in this elective group, the subjects that we enter, the students will be able to select from those subjects within this date, which is by default 1 week from now, which you can change. So inside the selective group, I can add subjects. So the options that I want to give. And if there is no exam, we can check that option. Otherwise, we can leave it blank. And now, as an administrator, I can assign students to these subjects. Or when I log in as the student of this batch, I will be able to assign myself to any of these subjects or both of these subjects. Once I've created the subjects, I will go to Manage Course Batch, and now I will create another batch and copy the subjects. So this is another group of students in the same class, and the duration I will set. And I can check this option of import previous batch subjects. In case I have also set up the fees, I can copy the fee structure for this batch as well from here. So you will see that for this batch as well, I get the subjects to be copied and I do not have to create them for this batch again. Now the next step is to create student category. So the way you want to categorize the students of the institute, those categories can be created here. We can get reports based on these categories later on, and also we can give discounts or concessions to the students based on these categories. So you just have to give the name of the category and save it. And when I admit a student, it will ask me what is the category of that student. Then we have add admission additional detail. So these are the custom fields that you want to take the data for. For example, if I want to take the height and the weight of the student that I'm admitting, I will create those fields here. So I will give the name of the field to be height. I will mention the status and whether it is a mandatory field, and how should I be able to enter the data in it. So this way we can create custom fields. And all these fields will be asked in the admission form now. After we've created the additional detail, let's see the SMS module. So you might have got a username and password to accounts.fidina.com. When you open that using your username and password, you will be able to go to schools and click on the name of the school, and here click on SMS setting. So to be able to use the SMS module, we should do the SMS settings first in this panel. So here click on add, and a third-party SMS provider has to be contacted in your country who will give you the values of these keys. So he will give, when you create an account with him, he will give you the details of these fields, and when you have entered these, you can come back to FIDINA and click on SMS module here and go to SMS settings, and you will see this unchecked for the first time like this. Enable it for the application by clicking on that checkbox. So this means now you want to start using SMS feature of FIDINA. Then for the first 4 options that come up, automatic SMS is sent. And for the next 3 options, manual SMS is sent. So whenever a student is admitted, the student and the parent will get an automatic SMS. Whenever exam is scheduled or result is published, whenever a student is absent, and whenever an event is created in FIDINA, automatic SMS is sent. For the last 3 options, manual SMS can be sent. So you will see the links here: send SMS to students, to batch of student, to employees, to a group of employees, or broadcast a message to all. And you can even view the SMS log. So what was the message and when was it sent? When you click on it further, you can see the gateway response as well. So whether the message was sent successfully or not. So this is about SMS module. And then we have manage student roll number. This feature can be used when you have already admitted the students in FIDINA. So you can auto-generate their roll numbers based on the sorting method that you used. For example, you can sort the students based on their first name and then generate a unique number for each student by coming to manage student roll number. So let's say that I've already admitted the students. So I will go to this batch, let's say class 2. I will click on view batches, and I will click on the batch for which I want to set the roll number, and the students will appear and the roll number will automatically come up. So this is a unique number that we have given to the student of this batch. We can also set a prefix for this roll number. So prefix would denote something like this. Let's say we want to give this as the prefix. So the students will have C201, C202, C203 as the unique number assigned to them, which is the roll number. Admission number is unique to the institute for each student. Roll number is unique to each student but within the batch. And here the sorting is done based on first name, and so the roll numbers are assigned in the increasing order. You can edit this sorting also by clicking on here. So when I first entered manage student roll number, I selected the sorting method to be first name. So it is applicable for all the batches. I can change it to last name or based on the admission number. I can edit it from here. So these are the settings that we should do as an administrator. Now the next step after we've done the setting is admission of student. So I will go to academics and students and student admission here. And the admission number, we can mention an appropriate admission number. So based on what is the prefix that you want to use in the admission number, you can give something like this. So this is possible. You can also give here the simple number, something like this. You can set the admission date. You can give the first name. You can give other details from here. You can put the student in a category. So these are the categories that I created. So I can put this student in a category here. Then I can enter all the other details. I can put him in a course. I can put him in a batch. And I can assign roll number from here as well when I'm admitting. Or I can skip this for now and enter this detail by going to manage student roll number. So the roll number will automatically be generated. I can also upload the photo from here. So let me give another admission number. Since I already have this admission number, so it is not allowing me to use the same. Now the next step is to assign sibling to this student. So sibling is another student who you have already entered in FIDINA. So you can search the student like this by the first name or by the admission number, and you can click on the name and it will get assigned. Otherwise, you can skip this and enter the parent details of the student. And after entering the parent details, the profile will also be created for the parent. So the parent will also be able to log in. I can add one or more guardians. And one of the guardians will be able to log in FIDINA. So I can select that. I can enter the previous institute educational details of the student. So the previous institute name, the course in which he was studying, the year, and the total marks. Then these are the additional fields that can be entered. So the height, weight, and the fields that I created, I can enter the values for them. And you will see that the profile of the student gets created. He will be able to log in using user 89 and user 89123. And since I've done the setting where he should change his password, so I was getting that option. And as a student, I can see my academics, I can see calendar, I can see profile, the timetable for me. Also, I can see news. So now after I've admitted the students, I can admit employees, and I have a human resource module where we can manage the employees. So we can create employees, we can do settings, we can create their pay slips, we can create their leaves, and so on. So we'll go to administration, human resource, and the first step is to do the settings. And the first three settings that you see here, category, position, and department, are mandatory to be done before you start admitting employees. Because in the admission field, these fields are mandatory. So we'll go to add employee category and we'll add some categories of the employees. For example, how do you want to categorize the employees in your institute? Teaching staff, non-teaching staff, temporary, on contract basis, housekeeping, accounts, finance, and so on. So based on how do you want to categorize the employees, you can create a category. And one employee will belong to only one category at a time. You have to give the name of the category, some short form for it, like this. And the second step is to add employee position. So in this category that you just created, what is the position of the employee? For example, in the category teaching, a position can be professor. Another position can be lecturer. Another position junior. Another position mid-level, and so on. So in each category, there must be at least one position that you should create. Then the department of the employee. So how do you want to categorize the employees in departments? They can be based on the subjects that they are taking. So I will put all the English teachers in English department. So to create English department, I will give the name of the department to be English and the code. So like this, I have created some departments. If the teacher is taking more than one subject, then you can create a generic department called academics, and you can put all the teachers in that department. Otherwise, you can do the way I have done here. I have categorized them based on the subject. Next step is grade of the employee. The grade of the employee is the maximum periods or the maximum classes hours, same, that the employee can take in a week or in a day. For example, I can define something like grade 1, and grade 1 employee can take 1 hour or 1 class in a day and 4 classes in a week. So this is defining a grade. So this means that when I'm going to admit an employee now, if I put him in grade 1, he can take 1 class in a day and 4 classes in a week. And based on this, I'll be able to check his work allotment after I create his timetable. So like this, I've created other grades as well. Then the payroll category. The payroll category are the earnings and the deductions that you see in the payslip of the employee. For example, I have a category called basic salary. The percentage and percentage of field, I've left it blank because basic salary is an independent component. And since it is an earning, I'm not checking this. So like this, I've created another category, let's say XYZ, which is 8% of basic salary. So it is a dependent component. And again, it's an earning. Let me show you a deduction that I've created here. It is PF is 12% of basic salary and it is a deduction, so I'm checking this. So like this, I've created 8 categories here, 7 categories here. And when I admit an employee, against each of the categories, I need to enter the figures for each employee. Then the bank details. So if we want to take any bank information which should appear in the profile of the employee, we can take it. Like the account number. So these are the fields that I am creating. Bank name and so on. Then the additional details. So the way we had for student. the additional details like height, weight, and so on. So if we want to attach such kind of details with teachers as well, we can create the fields here and they will be appearing in the profile of the teacher. Once we have done these settings, we can add employees by going to employee management and employee admission. An employee number is again a unique number that you associate with an employee. And here we can mention the joining date, we can mention the first name of the employee, we can mention the department. So these are the settings that we just did. So we can put him in a department, we can select his category, so let's say he's a teacher and a professor. We can assign a grade to him based on how many hours he should be working. So let's say this employee should be working 8 hours in a week. So I'm assigning grade 2. I can mention the job title, the qualification, experience related data, his personal details from here, and I can upload the user photo from here. And then I can add the addresses, the home address, office address, contact details of this employee. So these are the bank details. So if you've created any fields, those fields values will be asked now. You can enter the data against them, and these are the additional details. So the additional fields that I created. And now this is very important. This tells you the privileges that I can assign to this employee. So privilege is based on the role of the employee, what this employee should be able to do in FEDINA. For example, if you see, as an administrator, I have a lot of functionalities available with me. So if I want to give any kind of functionality to this user, I need to check that from here. For example, if I want this employee to be able to mark any batches attendance, I can check this. If I want this employee to collect the fees of any batch, I can check this, and so on. So based on the functionalities that you check from here, you can assign him functionalities in his FEDINA. Now after we have saved that, the next step is to assign this employee a manager. So based on who should be able to approve the leaves of this employee, I am searching the manager by the name or the employee ID, and I can click on the name and I can assign him. So this means that the managers or the higher authority employees should be added first in FEDINA so that you can search them and assign them to the other employees as managers. Then we can enter the details like basic salary. So these are the figures that I created, and you will see that the dependent components automatically come up. Then I can enter the professional tax and the fixed amount which were independent. For each employee they are different, so I'm entering that data. And now this employee's profile gets created, and this employee will be able to log in using E95 and E95 123, and since he's logging in for the first time and we have done this setting, he's asked to change his password. And as this employee, you will see that he gets very less functionalities to do. When I go to attendance, he can see the attendance register and mark attendance for all the batches. This is because we have given him this privilege. So this is how we admit the employees. After we have admitted all the employees, we will go to Employee Subject Association here to associate the employees with a batch and a subject. So we will select the batch, we will select the subject, and we have to assign the employee who will be taking this subject. So this is the employee that I just created and I can assign him. There can be more than one employee who can be assigned like this for the same subject. So this we have to do for all the subjects that we have. So this can be done for all the subjects of the batch. So this process has to be done for each batch and each subject that we have. Once we have done this, let's see how we can add the leaves of the employees so that they can apply for leaves and the managers can approve them and we can view some reports. So we will go to add leave types and we will give the name of the leave, like let's say sick leave. We will give some code, can be same as name or different, and how many such leaves are allowed. So what I'm saying here is that 3 sick leaves will be allowed for the employees and the duration I have to set it separately. Do I want to carry forward the left amount of the leaves? If yes, then it can be checked. Once we do this, we can add other leave types as well, like I've added casual leave, maternity leave, paternity leave, and so on. And then I can go to reset leaves from here and leave reset settings. And this is where I mention the duration. So 3 sick leaves are applicable for a duration of 12 months. So like this is a common duration for all the leaves that I have. Starting this date for a period of 12 months, and if you want to enable automatic reset, meaning that after 12 months the employees will again get the maximum count of the leave types. So you can check this option here. Otherwise it can be manually resetted by going to any one of these links. And then an employee will be able to apply for a leave. So I log in as an employee now and I'll show you how an employee can apply for a leave. So under academics, he has leaves where he'll get the leave application form. He will select the leave that he wants to avail and the reason, and he can take half day or he can set the duration from here. And once this leave application is created, the manager of this employee will be able to approve the leave. So I log in as the manager of this employee who applied for leave here. And this manager will get a notification on his dashlet here. So here I'll be clicking on the name of the employee and I will get the leave application details like this. I can approve it or deny it. If I approve it, the leaves will get counted from the actual leaves of the employee. So here, as a FEDINA administrator, I'll be able to see the attendance register of the employees by going to Employee Leave Management, Attendance Register. And when I select the department, I'll be able to see all the employees here. And I can see for this employee, since he applied for leave and it got approved, it denotes by this sign. So wherever you see a blank cell in FEDINA, it means the employees are present. And the highlighted part denotes the current date. So this is the attendance register. We can see the attendance report, so which employee has taken how many, what kind of leave. So it shows for all the users here, all the users, all the employees of FEDINA. Then we can generate the payslip of employee by going to create payslip. Generation of payslip can be done for each employee separately, or we can do it in one click from here. So we can select the month for which we want to generate the payslip, and as per the data that we've entered in the payroll categories when we admitted the employee, It will take the same data and generate the salary slip for this month. If we want to do any changes, we have to go to select employee. So this is the second way, selecting each employee and generating for the employee. I will select the name of the employee and the details as I entered will appear. And I can edit any of the field as per my requirement. I can add an individual category from here. For example, this is a category which is particular to this employee and is a deduction. I can add an earning as well, which is particular to this employee, like this. And once we click on create, the payslip will get created for the month that you selected. So this generation of payslip is done by HR person, and approval of payslip is done by any person in finance. So to that person who should be able to approve or reject the payslip, you should give him approve, reject payslip privilege. And when you do that, under finance, he will be able to see the payslip link and he can approve it in one click, or he can view the payslip for each employee like this. He can see the status, and on clicking on view, he can see the details. He can approve it or reject it. If the payslip is rejected, the HR person will be able to edit it and submit it again. If the payslip is approved, there is no way a payslip can be reverted back. So approval of payslip has to be done with caution. Once we have done generation and approval, we can also see the status of all the payslips by going to employee payslip. So for a particular month, I can see all the employees for which the payslip was generated and the salary and the status and the total salary and the approved salary from here. For this, we can get a PDF and a CSV report as well. So this is about HR. Now the next module that we will see is marking student attendance, which is again a core module. So the next module, here we will go to attendance under academics, and we have attendance register. And here we will be selecting the batch like this, and all the students of the batch will appear. Now, as for the employees, the blank cells denote the student is present. If you want to mark a student absent, we'll be clicking like this, and we can mention the reason and whether the student was absent for the full duration or half of the day. And this interface is coming because I've selected the attendance type to be daily. If I select it to be subject-wise, I will be asked the subject, and as per the timetable I have given for that subject, I'll be getting to mark the attendance here. I can mark the attendance of a student for a previous date or for a current date, but not for a future date. If I'm using FEDINA in the classroom, I can check this option of rapid attendance. In this case, I will not be asked the reason when I'm marking a student absent. You can see. It is just denoting by that sign. I can see the report by going to attendance report for a particular batch. So like this. I can see monthly or overall, and it shows the total number of working days since the start of the batch, the total working days that the student has attended, and hence the percentage. And I can get a PDF or a CSV report of this from here. And I can see day-wise attendance report. So for a particular day, it shows me the overall strength of my institute. So I have 109 students in all the batches in FEDINA. So this is the full count of the students. I can change it for a particular date like this, and I can see that yesterday 106 were present out of 109, and I can see it for a particular batch as well like this. So it shows the batches and how many absentees were there. On clicking on the batch, I can see the absentee details here. So this is day-wise attendance report. So this is how we can mark and view the report for the students regarding the attendance. Now the next thing that we have is timetable of the student. So we will go to academics, we will go to timetable here. And timetable interface has changed since FEDINA 3.4.1. So the first two links that you see here, they are having a different user interface and few difference in functionality. So let's see that. We have manage class timing set. And here we can either edit the default class timing set. So if you're using FEDINA for the first time, you will get your default class timing set. Now here you can go to view class timings and it will be empty for the first time. You can click on add class timing and add the periods here. So to add a period, you will click on add class timing here and give the period name, the duration. So it starts from 8 in the morning to 10:15. So the to time, the from time and the to time. So like this, you have to create all the periods here. Now this is what we did for default. We can edit it. So after we have edited the default, we can go to set weekdays and class timing set. And we just have to select the weekdays for each batch like this. So based on the course that I have, let's say class 9, it works on, let's say, Monday to Friday or Monday to Saturday. So by default, Monday to Friday will be selected and class timing set will be the one that you just created. So 8 to 5, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Let's assume. So we can check this another working day if it is applicable. So this is what, so here default class timing set is applicable to all the weekdays. It means all the weekdays have the same timing, 8 to 5. You can also change this. So to change it, you have to create a new class timing set by clicking on new, give it a name. For example, you can say Monday class timing set. So this is only applicable for Monday. So I can, when I create it, you will see that it'll get, I have already so many, so they are appearing. Otherwise only one will appear here along with default, and I can add class timing. So let's say on Monday, only first half is working. So starting 8 in the morning and till 12 in the afternoon. So I can keep on creating those periods here. So like this. So once I have done this, then I'll go back to timetable, set weekdays. I'll select the course to which I want to assign, and for Monday, I will change it to the class timing set that I just created, which is Monday class timings. So only for Monday it will come different, and for the rest of the days it will be same. Now you can do different for each day as well, but you have to create so many class timing sets. So this is about how we can assign class timing set, and then we can create timetable. To create a timetable, we will click here and give the duration of the timetable. So the duration of the timetable is till when do you want the timetable to repeat. For example, on all the Mondays, this is the timetable that will be followed. On all the Tuesdays, the same timetable will be followed. So each weekday will have the same set of subjects that will run. So based on till what duration you want that, you can select here. It can be a week, it can be a month, 2 months, 3 months, a semester, or a year for a class. So based on how much do you want, till when you want the timetable to be repeat, you can select it. So I've created a timetable for a month, 27th February to 27th March here. And now I'll click on edit timetable entries and I'll select the batch. And here you will see that as per the class timing set that I've assigned, the timetable is coming up. So if I've assigned it differently for a day, it will come differently. So here I'll be able to select the batch and I'll be able to select the subject. So here I'll be selecting like this. I'll be selecting the subject. The employee who I associated will appear. I'll click on the employee name and assign. So you will see that it appears like this. Similarly, I can do for another slot for another subject. I can assign two different teachers for the same subject like this. So this is how we have to create the timetable. This has to be done for each batch that your institute has in FIDINA. Once we have done this, we can view the timetable and we can get a PDF or a CSV report of it as well. So for a particular batch, I'll be able to see the timetable and I can get the details like this from here. Then I can view the teacher timetable. So based on when is the teacher available or when is the teacher busy and on what date and on what time on the weekday, it shows like this. So for this timetable duration, I can see all the teachers that I've assigned and it shows for all the weekdays. So I'm scrolling on the right to see all the weekdays here. I can see like this. So this is the teacher's timetable. The teacher will also be able to see her timetable in her profile. So when the teacher log in into FIDINA using their credentials, they will be able to see the timetable. Then we have work allotment. So this shows all the batches and all the subjects. We can also associate employees to the subjects from here like this. So these are all the employees that I have. So this is also another way to do employee subject association. And on the right hand side, what you see is as per the grade and the subjects that you assign from here to the employee. OK means the employee is taking the right number of subjects, right number of classes as per his grade. For example, if there is an employee E1 who you have assigned grade 2, which is 8 hours in a week, and you are assigning this employee 2 subjects, which is English and mathematics, both happening 4 hours in a week. In that case, this employee will show here OK. If the employee has 2 more classes to take, then it will show 2 remaining. If the employee is overtime, is overworking, then it will show 6 hours more or deficit. So this shows the work allotment of the employee. Then we can see the institute timetable. So for the institute, for a particular day, it can be previous day, it can be future day. All the timetable that you have created will appear here like this. So the batch will appear and the classes that are happening in that will be shown. So this is the institute's timetable as per the timetable entries that you have done. You can see it for a previous day or for any other date by scrolling. Then you have the timetable tracker. So if a teacher who was planned or scheduled to take a session will not be able to take it, in that case, you can substitute the teacher with another teacher by going to timetable tracker and swap timetable. Then I can select the batch from here. And for the batch, I should have a timetable and I'll be able to swap it. So let me see a batch that has a timetable for today. So I can change the teacher. Let me select it for another date so that I have a timetable. So for this date, this is the class that is happening and this is the teacher who is taking it. I can change this teacher to another teacher like this. So this is substituting or replacing a teacher. And these changes will reflect when you go to SWAFT timetable report. So for a particular duration that you see here, you'll be able to see who replaced whom like this. And one hyphen here denotes that this teacher has taken one less period than she was supposed to take as per her work allotment. So this is as per the work allotment and as per the swap that we have done. The next module under timetable that we have is classroom allocation. So we can create buildings and we can give them name by going to add building. For example, I've given a building name called D block. And inside this building, I can create rooms by clicking on add room. So it will ask me the name of the room and the capacity of students that it can take. So like this, I have created few buildings and each of the buildings I have created few rooms. And then I can go to allocate and click on weekly. So this is weekly allocation for this timetable duration that you select from here. All the batches will appear like this and I'll be selecting the classroom, the building and the classroom, and I'll drag and drop that to allocate that batch in that classroom. So this I have to do for the full duration of the weekday like this, till the weekdays for the batch. And once I have done that, the same will repeat for the full duration of the timetable that you've mentioned it. So it means for all the Mondays, the students of this batch will be studying in W1. For all the Tuesdays, they will be studying in W2 and so on. You can have the same class throughout the year as well, the same classroom. If you want to change a particular classroom, you can use date specific and change it for that particular day itself. So it will override in this case. So like this. So this is the change that you want to do from the planned one. So this is about timetable. Now let's see the next module, which is examination. So we'll go to academics, we'll go to examination, and the first step is do the settings and set the grading level. So here there is a common set of grades that you can set for all the batches together. So here you can edit the ones. You will see already some grades are there. You can click on edit and you can mention the letter grade. The minimum score, so 90 and above or 95 and above, so that minimum score can be mentioned and the description can be mentioned. So this means 80 to 95 is B, 70 to 80 is C, 60 to 70 is D, and so on. So these are the grades that you can set. If it is different for a batch, you can select that particular batch and you can assign the grades to that batch by clicking on add grades. After you've done the grading level settings, you can go to ranking level and you can select the grade from here. So like this. So for this course, you can create ranking level. For example, you can create a ranking level and give it a name like top performer. And who do you want to call top performer in this course? So let's say the students who get in minimum 4 subjects, minimum 95% in each subject, they will be categorized as top performer. So what we are doing here, we are creating some criteria and later on we will be able to get reports based on these criteria. So like this, I have created another ranking level. So it means the students of this course will be categorized as high performers when In minimum 2 subjects, they get minimum 85% in each subject. So like this, you can create ranking levels, and you can also create class designation. For class designation, it will not ask you about the number of subjects or the limits to the marks of the subjects. So like here, you can create a class designation called first class, and in first class, the students will be called first class students in this course when they have 90 and above overall. So this is about class designation. And if you have checked GPA option in the general settings, you will get an option here to select the CGPA formula that you want to use. That is another setting that will appear when you select GPA. Then you can go to exam management and select the course and create an exam for this course. So you have to click on new, and what is the exam that you want to create, like for example term 1, and what is the type of the exam. So what do you want to see in the report of this exam? Is it only marks and grades, or only grades? That can be selected. Once you do that, all the subjects will appear. You have to fill in the maximum and the minimum marks and the schedule of the subject exam. So this means we can select the time and the date like this. So I'm selecting the time here and the date as well when this exam is going to happen. If there is an exam, if there is a subject for which I do not want to create an exam, I can check this option of do not create. Once I do that, I can publish the exam schedule so that the students and the parents get a notification and they can see the exam schedule. They will also be able to see the exam schedule when they go to calendar here. So when I log in as the student of that batch for which the exam was just created, I'll be able to see the same like this. So the examinations will come up in blue label like this. And once the exam is published, now let's assume that the students have written the exam. So when I click on the name of the exam and when I've logged in as a teacher of science of this batch, I will only be able to see my own subject, and I'll be able to enter the marks for the student and give some remarks for this student's performance. And the same will appear in the report card as well. So like this, I will be entering the marks for all the students as separate teachers. And once the teachers have entered the marks, the administrator, FIDINA administrator, can approve or publish the exam result so that the students will get notified about it. So like this, I have created many exams. You can keep on creating exams as per the educational schedule or the examination pattern that is followed there. So I've created like this. I've created 5 exams here. And now I can connect these exams like this. Connecting exams means we can give them weightages. The total weightage should be 100. So the combined percentage that will come in the final report will be the weighted average as you give them here. Once you have done that, you will go to generate reports, select the batch for which you want to see the reports and click on generate. And it will take around 30 seconds to a minute to appear all the reports in report center link. So we have 12 kind of reports that are available for the courses that follow GPA, CWA and normal grading system. For ICSE and CCE, we have 3 kind of reports each. So this is for GPA, CWA or normal grading system. For ICSE and CCE, we have separate videos that you will find in the portal. So the details of settings, exam creation and reports are in that video. So let me show you here exam-wise report. So we will be selecting here the exam, the batch, the exam group like this, and it shows the details like this. So it will show all the subjects, the marks obtained, the maximum marks and the grade and the percentage as well. Also it shows the class average and how much the student is deviating from the class average in each subject. Remarks can be added by the tutor or by the teacher or by the FIDINA administrator. So this is exam-wise report. We have subject-wise. For each subject, we can see the report like this for all the students together. So for each exam that was conducted. Then we have grouped exam report. So for a batch, we can see the grouped exam report, which is the combined percentage of all the exams that have happened as per the weightage that you've given them. We can give remarks like this. Let me show you another report, which is transcript. So for all the courses that the student has undergone in your institute, you'll be able to see the transcript like this. So this student has undergone this course, 2 courses here. So it will show the batch, the previous batch and the current batch. For the previous batch, it shows the details like this. For the current batch as well, it shows the combined percentage as well, the class designation like this. So like this we have other reports as well. So we have student ranks in a batch, in a subject, in a course and in a school. We have student ranks for person attendance as well. We can see ranking level report. So as per the ranking levels that we've created, we can get a report based on them, or we can see the class designation and ranking level both together in combined report. So this is about examination module. Now the next module that we have is finance. So let's see finance, which is under administration. The first step is to create the fees. So we will go to fees here and create fees. We can create a category of fees. So this is the fees that we want to give the name of the master category. So let's say it is fees for class 9, 2015 batch. We can select one or more batches from here like this. Then we can create particulars for this fees. So I'll select here the fee category, the batches and the particular like this. And is this particular applicable to all the students or admission number based or student category based? That can be selected from here. So like this, I am creating another particular here. So you can create all the particulars like this, and then you can create discount. So a discount can be given to a batch, to a category of student, or to a single student. So let's say we want to give it to a category of student. We can select the student category from here. And then we can select, if there are no students in this batch which belong to the category, it will also show you a warning here. So you can, let me give it for the full batch. And here, since I did not put the student in any category, so it is not, the students are not coming up for the category. So here I'll be selecting the batch, the student, like this. I'll select the batch and I can give a discount on particulars as well instead of the full batch. So I can give it on particulars. So this is a new feature that has come with FIDINA 3.4.1. So I'll be selecting the particular which I want to give discount, and if it is a percentage or a fixed amount like this. I can give it a name. Like this. And once I've created the discount, I will now be able to also create fine. So I can create fine slab. So I'll give the name of the fine. Let's say it is penalty. Fee days after due date. So after due date, how many days should be there and what is the fine? So if a student is paying 1 day after due date, the fine amount that he will be charged is 100, like this. So it can be a percentage or a fixed amount. So like this I can create all the fine. Then after I have done all these settings, I can go to schedule fee collection date and create fee collection. And I'll be able to create the fee collection from here. So I'll select that fee collection that I just created, which was class 9. I can give it a name. Let's say it is the start year fee collection. Assuming that you can do it once in a year or twice in a year or thrice in a year, depending on how many times you want to do it, this fee collection has to be created. We can select the fine that we created. We can set the start, end date and the due date from here. After due date, the fine will be applicable. So the fine that we've just selected will be applicable after the due date. And then we can also manage fee collection from here. This is again a new enhancement. We'll select the batch. So this is the batch that I have. We'll select the fee collection. So the fee collection takes 30 seconds to 1 minute to appear here. So let's see here for this batch. Just give it a moment. So you can see the fee collection now appears, and I'll be able to see the particular details here, the student wise details or the student category wise details. I can also see the discount details. So for a batch, for a student category or for a particular, like this. Now I'll be able to go to collect the fees, to be able to collect the fees from the student, and we have 3 ways in which we can collect. First way is selecting the batch, selecting the fee collection, and the student will appear like this. And now you can see that the fees details are coming here. And I can select it to see for other students as well. Since I have only one student in the batch, so it appears like this. And I can select the payment mode from here. I can mention the payment note like this. I can mention the payment date, which can be a past, current or a future date, and I can mention the amount, which can be partial. If I take a partial amount, I will be able to generate a partial payment receipt. So if I see the receipt now, it will be partial payment receipt because the amount is yet to be paid, like this. It shows the details like this. So this is the receipt that we have. And then we can collect the fees, which is the other way, which is by the name of the student. So here I will be searching by the name like this. And again, I'll be selecting his fee collection. If there are more than one, I can select and I can collect the fees. So the same receipt, but the way we get here is different. We can also take the fees particular wise. It means the student can choose to give some amount of a particular here. So like here, for this, I want to pay, let's say here, let me do from the beginning. Here, let's say that for this amount, I want to pay 7,800, but admission fee, I want to pay this much only. So I can take this like this. So it shows that one particular is paid where the other one is yet to be paid, which again can be paid in installments like this. And also we can add a particular or a discount instantly, which will be appearing in the receipt. So if you will see that also cashier details are coming here. So the person who is taking this fees, collecting this fees, his first name appears here. This is another enhancement that we have come up with. The fees can be reverted by anyone with revert transaction privilege. So here we can revert the fees by clicking on this. So the amount will get unpaid here. And after we have collected the fees, we can view the fee structure also. Fee structure can be viewed anytime like this. So it shows for the fee collection, if any discount is applicable, what are the particulars, what is the amount, and so on. And then we can see the fee defaulters. So for a particular batch, we can see as per the fee collection, what is the student who has not paid the fees and their due date is past. And when we click on pay fees, you will see that we can instantly also take the fee from the student. We can enter the fine amount here as well, which will become a part of the receipt. Then we have fees refund. So this shows the refund, or we can create a refund rule. For example, for the fee collection, which is for class 9, I can create a refund rule. So if I want to refund a part of fees to a student, I can create a refund rule like this. Now starting which date I should be able to issue the refund has to be selected, and refund can be a percentage or a fixed amount like this. And the student who has already paid the fees, I can take the refund from him by going to apply refund and searching the student here. So you will see that I can refund him this amount. I can mention the description and refund the amount to him. I'll be able to see all the refunds that have happened within a particular duration from here, like this. So it shows the student what is the amount that was refunded to him, on what date, and who refunded it. Then we can see the student fees headwise report. So the batch-wise report. So it shows for a particular batch, the students and the fee collections that are applicable to them, how much amount they are yet to pay, and the amount that I have already paid, and if any discount is applicable to them, like this. Also, it also shows the partial payment, if any. So the partial payment for the students will also appear here. So this is batch wise. We can also see it fee collection wise. So for a particular batch, we can see the fee collection like this if there is more than one, and it shows like this. So again, it will show the partial payments and discounts that are applicable. We can also see it student wise. So searching the student, and we can see the amount that he is yet to pay or the amount that he is already paid. So this is about the fees module in FIDINA. Then if you go to finance module, you will see that there is finance reports, where for a particular duration, we can see the incomes and the expenses that have happened. So whenever I am approving a salary, it gets added as an expense here. To see the details, I'll click on the particular and I'll be clicking on the department and I get to see the details like this. So all the employees will appear here. And like this, I can see for any other particular as well. So I also have the same for fees. So if I'm collecting fees from some students, we can see the details like this. So this is the report that appears. Now if you want to track your own particulars here, besides the particulars that you see, you can go here to create category and you can create the category. So you have to click on create finance category. Give the name like stationery charges is the category. So if you're charging the student for stationery, you can give the description, and if it is an income, you can check this. Now it appears like this. So I've created many categories here like this, and now I'll be able to add a transaction in that category. So if I've added a category as an income, I can add a transaction, or if I've added an expense, I can add a transaction here. So I'll select the category for which I want to add the transaction. I'll mention the title, the description, the amount that I got, like this. And once I've added the transaction and I see the finance report for a particular duration, it will also show the stationery charges and that amount. So this way we can track our own incomes or expenses by making transactions in them. Then we have automatic transaction. Automatic transaction happens, for example, when you want to deduct a part of income that you are getting. Now that income can be a custom category that you created or donation. So if you want to cut a part of that income that you're getting and only reflect another part of it, then you can create an automatic transaction on it. So here we will click on new and select the category. So all the incomes are appearing, the custom created and donation. Mention what is the percentage that should not be reflected in the finance report. And you can give a title and a description. And now whenever I am going to do a donation, since I made the automatic transaction on donation, whenever I am going to give donation, you will see that when I see the finance report now, it will show me only 95 as the refund amount because 5% of it is cut as tax. So the donation amount is 95, and when I click on it, I'll be able to see further details from here. I can also manage assets and liabilities by going to asset liability. I can create an asset by clicking on create, and I can give the title, the description and the amount. And also I can mark an asset active or inactive. I can get a PDF report of this as well. Same I can do for the liabilities. So this is tracking your assets and liabilities. So this is fully about the finance module. Let's see some other modules that we have. So we've seen attendance. Let's see batch summary, which is a core module that has come up with FIDINA 3.4.1. We'll select a batch here and like this. And it shows the students, so the total number of students, the attendance for a particular date like this. So the students who are absent, it shows here like this. Subjects and the employees they are associated with. So timetable and activities for a particular date, I can see like this: class timing, the subject, the employee, the classroom, and the building. It shows the events as well. It shows the examinations. The examinations can be results that are published, the finished exams, or the ongoing exams. So all the details related to a batch is shown here, along with the duration of the batch and the tutor who is assigned. So this is about batch summary. Batch summary module will be available to the tutor or the FIDINA administrator. Then let's see calendar. So this is where all the fees due, all the events that we create will appear, all the examinations and the holidays. Now, as per the academic calendar of your institute, you can declare holiday in FIDINA. To declare a holiday, you can scroll to that month and click on that date, click on add. Here, give the title of the holiday, so the reason of the holiday, some description, and if it is a holiday checkered or if it is a common event which is common to all, generally a holiday will be common to all, you can check it. You can create this event. So this event can also be created in a general way. Like now I've created it as a holiday. So if I create it as a holiday, attendance will be disabled for that day. If I create it as a normal event, which means I do not check is holiday, then it will appear with a black label like this. So on the right you can see it appears with a black label. So this is about the calendar. Then we can give remarks to the students. So we can go to add custom remark and we can select a batch like this. And for the students of this batch, for a class activity or for any class work that has happened or any kind of activity, I can give the remarks here like this. Remark by the role of the teacher. I can mention the details like this. And when I log in as any one of the student, so let me show you how the remarks will be appearing for the student. So the student can see the remarks that a teacher has given to him by going to my profile and remarks. So like this. And we can also list out the remarks that were given to a student as a FIDINA administrator. So I'll go to remarks, I'll go to list custom remarks, I select the batch like this, and I select the student name from here, and it shows the remarks that were given to the student, who has given it and on what activity. Also the dates. The remarks can be deleted or edited as well. Then we have the news module. So we can create any kind of news here. So this is for all the students together or for all the FIDINA users. Not only for students, it's for employees, for all the users of FIDINA. We can have a video, we can have an image that can be inserted, or we can have any kind of text here. We can publish this news and all the users will be able to see the same in their dashlet under news section. Anyone can comment on it. If the comment approval is on, the comments will be shown only when the admin approves the comment. Then we have the data and reports section where we can view the reports. So the total number of courses, when we click on it, we get other details like this. These will appear. These can be sorted as well by clicking on the name or any other column that you have here. We can see the total batches, start date, end date, the tutor, female, male students. We can see the students all the students of the school. We can see all the employees. We can also see the employee subject association details. So the teacher and what is the subjects that she is associated with. Payroll details for all the teachers. We can also sort it for a department like this. Exam schedule details. After you create an exam, you can also come here and get a CSV of it. So all the exams will appear, the start time, end time, maximum and the minimum marks. Fee defaulter details. So in a particular batch, what is the balance? So which student has not paid? On clicking on it, we get to see the further details as well. So these students have not paid. So all these reports are available under the report section. Then we have user module where we can view the profile of any user by searching the user like this. For an employee, we'll also be able to edit the privilege that we have already given him. We can change the password for parent, for student and for the employee. We can also create another administrator. So FEDINA can have more than one administrator by clicking on add new, give the username, the first name, last name and the password to that administrator. So this is fully about the core modules of FEDINA.